Hey BookTube, it's Peg. I am back at the History Shelf. Good evening. Looks like it's about to storm here, so I've got some different lights going on, which I can't really wear my glasses because then they'll reflect, and it's dealing with some technical issues. So, but hey, this video is brought to you by my new shirt. Check this out. Oh, U.S. Grant, baby. That's it right there. This is the newest shirt that I had to order as soon as I saw that they might be printing it from the History List, which is a fabulous company that has history wear, gear, stickers. They do history camps, and just a lot of fun different stuff. I think you've seen my other shirt by them, the History Nerd shirt, which is the 75th anniversary of D-Day, and it has the parachute. It's an army green, but when I saw they were making a U.S. Grant shirt, you know I had to get it. Anyway, I'll link their company below, and I think I might even have a coupon code for any new customers. So check it out. I mean, it's super soft. This is their poly blend. Nice. So yeah, I'm a nerd. I'm the one that goes out and buys the U.S. Grant shirt. I don't care. I don't care what you think. Guys, I have military history. Oh, I love it. I have 4 new books I want to show you that came in from Casemate publishers. I love their books. Really super excited for this one. The first one on the list. Because this is by the same author of a book that I showed and reviewed, which I'll link below. But this is the brand new book that they published by Colonel Keith Nightingale. I reviewed his book, oh gosh, when did I do it? Earlier this year. Yeah, earlier this year, I think. Or maybe last year. Where's the time going? Just Another Day in Vietnam. A fabulous third-person memoir. It's very different, but very cool, and I really enjoyed it. And he has a new book out. This is just hot off the presses, and they sent me a copy, so I will be starting to read this here probably the next week or two. I've got some other things to finish up, but this is Keith Nightingale's brand new book, Phoenix Rising, From the Ashes of Desert One to the Rebirth of U.S. Special Operations. It's even blurred by General Stanley McChrystal. So let me just tell you about this. I'm really excited. Phoenix Rising recounts the paradoxical birth of Special Operations Forces through the prism of Operation Eagle Claw, the failed attempt to rescue 52 Americans held hostage in the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. When terrorists captured the embassy on November 4th, 1979, the Joint Chiefs of Staff quickly realized that the U.S. lacked the military capability to launch a rescue. There was no precedent for the mission, a mission that came with extraordinary restrictions and required a unique force to take it on. With no existent command structure or budget, this force would have to be built from scratch in utmost secrecy and draw on every branch of the U.S. military. Keith Nightingale, then a major, was Deputy Operations Officer and the junior member of Joint Task Force Eagle Claw, commanded by Major General James Vaught. Based on Nightingale's detailed diary, Phoenix Rising vividly describes the personalities involved, the issues they faced, and the actions they took, from the conception of the operation to its hair-raising launch and execution. His historically significant post-analysis of Eagle Claw gives unparalleled insight into how a very dedicated group of people, from the Chief of Staff of the Army to lower-ranking personnel, subjugated personal ambition to grow the forces necessary to address the emerging terrorist threat, a threat which the majority of uniformed leadership and their political masters denied in 1979. The special operations capability of the United States today is the ultimate proof of their success. So I am hugely excited for Phoenix Rising. There we go. And I love that cover. We've got the sands of Iran, or the desert on there. That's fabulous. I'm excited. This is going to be good. So thank you, Casemate. Phoenix Rising. I'm so happy that he had a follow-up to Just Another Day in Vietnam. Fabulous book. It haunted me. It stayed with me, that one. So I'm excited to read about how the Special Operations Forces, or SOF, came into being, or really just kind of took on a whole new life after the Iran hostage affair. Okay, so I got three other books. One of these is another brand new release. It sounded very almost controversial. I think you'll see why. I'm always intrigued by someone who wants to make a case that could be controversial. So we'll see. This is Atomic Salvation: How the A-Bomb Attacks Saved the Lives of 32 Million People, by Tom Lewis. Also a Casemate imprint. This just came out. I did request this one because, again, I want to see what he's going to say here. Since the initial grateful acknowledgement of the success of the A-bomb attacks in ending World War II, there has been a steady reversal of opinion and sentiment, from a first hearty appreciation to a condemnation by many of the United States for its actions. Atomic Salvation investigates the full situation of the times to a previously unplumbed depth. It examines documents from both Japanese and Allied sources, but it uses logical, in-depth analysis to extend beyond the mere recounting of statistics. It charts the full extent of the possible casualties on both sides if a conventional assault against the Japanese home islands akin to D-Day had gone ahead. Okay? The work is concerned solely with the military necessity to use the bombs, but it also investigates why that necessity has been increasingly challenged over the successive decades. Okay, it even says it here in the flyleaf here. Controversially, the book shows that many more Japanese people would have died, likely around 28 million, had the nation been attacked in the manner by which Germany was defeated, by amphibious assault, artillery and air attacks preceding infantry insertion, and finally by subduing the last of the defenders of the enemy capital. Woo! Through investigation of reactions then and since, Atomic Salvation charts reaction to the bombings. It looks briefly at a range of reactions through the decades and shows that there has been relentless pressure on the world to condemn what at the time was seen as the best and the only military solution to end the war. So I'm very much looking forward to reading this. And all my... It's Gidget, everybody. That's Gidget. One moment. Gidget has a lot to say. She's a very well-read girl, and sometimes she disagrees. Anyway, Atomic Salvation. I want to add this to my my corpus of World War II books, and books on the Hiroshima and Nagasaki that I have, and I want to really see what I'm interested by his statistics, especially his how do you make statistics unimaginary? Well, I guess that's what it is. You're just projecting what something would have been, but you don't really know. On the Japanese casualties, if we had invaded and done a similar type of D-Day campaign against Japan like we did against Germany. Anyway, Atomic Salvation, I'm intrigued. I will report back. But I will be reading Phoenix Rising first. I'm so excited to have this book. It's brand new. I knew it was coming. I have talked to Colonel Nightingale, and he told me he was writing it back when I was reviewing his Vietnam book. So I was like, well, I look forward to reading that. I tell you what. Final two books, they come as a set. I had actually asked for the recent release, which is the second volume, and I hadn't read the first one, and they really need to be read together. This is also along the lines of World War II, and this is focusing on Japan. These two books are by Peter Harmson. The first book is War in the Far East, Storm Clouds Over the Pacific, 1931 to 1941. Getting a lot of glare there. This book is the first volume in a trilogy, okay, great, that will offer a more complete account of the Pacific War than any previously published. While keeping a focus on the decade leading up to Pearl Harbor, Storm Clouds Over the Pacific goes back centuries to examine the origins of enmity between Japan and China and trace the deep animosities that drove the immensely destructive war in the Asia-Pacific, exploring the love-hate relationship between East Asia's two oldest civilizations, conditioned by shifting geopolitical winds. So this is the first volume in the projected trilogy. Now this one just came out, and I had missed the first one, so when I saw this one, this is War in the Far East, Japan Runs Wild, 1942 to 1943. I only laughed because it's just like, girls gone wild. Sorry. Japan Runs Wild. Okay. It's a very evocative title. Also by, obviously, Peter Harmsen, and I really like the book designs on these. They're really well conceived and marketed as a piece. And I work in marketing, so kind of know these things. Let's see. In 1942, the soldiers and sailors of the Rising Sun were advancing on all fronts, conquering an area of the Pacific bigger than Hitler's empire at its largest extent. They seemed invincible. But by the end of 1943, the tables had been turned entirely. The Japanese were fighting a defensive battle along a front line thousands of miles long. Acclaimed author Peter Harmsen details the astonishing transformation that set the Allies on a path to final victory against Japan. So, this looks to be really good. We've got tons of awesome pictures in here. Good stuff. Oh, this is great. Tons of notes. Oh, and a bibliography that just goes on for days. I love it. I love it. It just gives you more ideas for reading. Sorry it's getting so dark in here. We were really getting ready to have a storm. So, Casemate Publishing, thank you so much. You have hooked me up with books that I cannot wait to dive into. I'm going to start with Colonel Nightingale's book. But we have, sorry, I should know this by now, but I'm getting a glare from my little, my lights over here. Peter Harmsen's 2 volumes so far on the War in the Far East, which looks fabulous. Controversial book, Atomic Salvation, How the A-Bomb Attack Saved the Lives of 32 Million People by Tom Lewis. That's going to be interesting. And again, going to end with what I started. The author of Just Another Day in Vietnam, back with his new book, Phoenix Rising, From the Ashes of Desert One to the Rebirth of the U.S. Special Operations retired Colonel Keith Nightingale. So, those are my military history books, guys. Let me know what you think. I'll definitely be doing a video review of Colonel Nightingale's book. I'm excited for that. And in the meantime, yay, U.S. Grant. It's fitting that I'm doing a military history book haul with Grant right here. So close to my heart. Hey, look, I'm under 15 minutes. Who would have thunk it, guys? All right, so, I have more books to show you, but I think I need to save them for another video. I really am going to try to keep these shorter, kind of. Anyway, guys, I hope you're having a great Thursday evening. Yep, Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. Stay safe, stay healthy. I gotta go check on Gidget, who I just banished her to the patio. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. Oh, and I forgot to mention, but I recently passed 1,000 subscribers. That was amazing. I never really thought anything like that would happen. Just a quick thanks to everybody. But I'm going to keep doing what I do, which is talk about books and history, my 2 passions. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon, BookTube. Take care. Bye.